leading a frontal assault on the lies of the New World Order. It's Christian Coffins.
DarkDox Digest. DarkDox Digest. DarkDox Digest. DarkDox Digest.
Welcome to the March 18th, 2025 episode of DarkDox Digest. I am your host, Christian Coffins. This is Insubordination!
DarkDox Digest. DarkDox Digest.
Aw, shucks. And I was doing everything so well, I forgot one thing. So there's about 97 things I need to do before each episode to make everything happen. And one of those things is when Ben, give it up everybody for Data Battle Z, he made a valiant effort today. And so every episode, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I do the show live here at youtube.com/Sacred Owls. And our good friend Ben over here, aka Data Battle Z, he takes the time out of his schedule to send me on Signal a little 11-second voice clip that's the welcome to today. You know, he does such a great job, I can't even do it. But the funny thing about OBS Studio, which he knows plenty about the troubles with OBS Studio, one of the quirky things is that if you change out an MP3 while OBS is open, it'll play the first second of it and then it'll cut off. Or at least I can't hear it. I'm curious. I'm going to listen back to today's episode to see how much longer after I, didn't jump in, because right when I jumped in, it's like, I cut off, I can't, so anyway, that's what happened there. But keep them updated, Battle Z. I just have to remember, I got caught up in this JFK stuff. It just dropped, so let's get into it. Get back to work, Data Battle Z. So, display capture. Today's episode is called Insubordination, but we'll get to that in a second. We'll get to that around here? Around there. Let's do that. Link in the description for everything that you see tabbed out up here. Also, just in case you didn't notice, here's the URL. You can always do a screenshot and then type that in, and it'll take you to where I'm at right now. Isn't that crazy? So this is archive.gov, National Archives, JFK Assassination Records 2025 documents release, and it's a lot. I'm still scrolling. Still scrolling. And that's all of them. So it's going to take a lot of time for anybody to parse through all of this. So what I did was I went ahead and randomly clicked through a couple of these, spread out different points, to see what I could get. And some of them were like, it was just like crap. Can't even read it. I'll show you some of what we're dealing with here. I'll keep this tab open. So this one's good. You have a JFK Assassination System Identification Form, Agency Information, JCS, record number, who the originator was. Everything's nice and clear. Stamps, dates, good document here. Can I move this over? I think I'm going to do that. For now. How about that? Can I make this go away? Yeah, right. All right, cool. So that way I can stay. I'm going to move over a little bit too. Let's get comfortable, guys. take this opportunity to share this link because we're going to be going over a lot today. It's a big, it might be a 2-hour episode. I don't know. We'll see. Memorandum for Colonel Haig, Office of the General Counsel, DA, subject Psychological Program Subcommittee, Cuba. Got your interest yet? Good. An informal meeting on the Interdepartmental Subcommittee Psychological Programs on Cuba Affairs was convened in room 7519 New State at 14:30 hours 30 December 1963. The agenda for the meeting was not pre-announced. Present from states where Chairman Boulder, Sylvester, and Montenegro from CIA, Tilton, and Holloway from USIA, Murphy, and the undersigned. The following topics were discussed: CUTAL, or Cuddle, or Unified Labor Federation for Latin America, meeting scheduled for Rio de Janeiro, 24 to 28 January 1964. Mr. Montenegro, State Labor Advisor for Latin America, described the anticipated meeting as a founding assemblage of left-wing labor leaders, socialists and communists, who will attempt to resolve their differences. State believe that there will be a concerted effort by the communists to wrest the leadership of the fledgling federation from Mexican socialist elements. Following actions were discussed. State to cable U.S. ambassador to Brazil to ascertain the degree to which local, not national, governmental elements will support disruptive and harassing actions before and during the meeting. State to circulize, that's a word? No. Latin American Post with the suggestion of local influences brought to bear in order to discourage country delegates from attending the meeting. USIA to consider VOA broadcasts to Latin America in order to expose of Cuban, East German, and Chinese communist labor conditions. CIA to continue black propaganda operations in Brazil, which suggests postponement of the meeting. Interdepartmental Coordination Committee of Cuban Affairs, possible retaliatory actions by Castro's government. I mean, it just goes on and on. This one out of thousands of PDFs is 18 pages. And we already see that the CIA is involved. I mean, we knew a lot of this through Operation Northwoods, which, if you're not familiar, Operation Northwoods. We have it in the DarkDox archive. George Washington University, yeah, they have the same copy we have. And this was 1962. Justification for U.S. military intervention in Cuba. The Joint Chief of Staff have considered the attached memorandum for Chief of Operations Cuba Project, which responds to requests that the Office for brief but precise description pretext would provide justification for U.S. military intervention with Cuba. The Joint Chief of Staff recommend that the proposed memorandum be forwarded as a preliminary submission suitable for planning purposes. It is assumed that there will be familiar blah blah blah. So the juicy parts of this fellow over here, you got to screw you got to scroll over here to where they get to the bullet points. It's been a while since I've seen this thing. I don't remember having to scroll this far. Okay, here we go. Page 10 of 15. Go to number 2. A series of well-coordinated incidents will be planned to take place in and around Guantanamo to give genuine appearance of being done by hostile Cuban forces. What does it say? Incidents to establish a credible attack, not in chronicle order. Start rumors. Use clandestine radio. Land friendly Cubana in uniform over the fence to stage attack on base. That's a false flag operation. Capture Cuban friendly saboteur inside the base. Start riots near base. Main gate, friendly Cubano. Blow up ammunition inside of the base and start fires. Burn aircraft on airbase, sabotage. Lob mortar shells from... Now keep in mind, Guantanamo Bay is a U.S. installation inside of Cuba. So we are going to act like we are leftist, starting fires and blow up ammunition inside of the base. Lob mortar shells from outside of the base into the base. Some damage to installations that are U.S. funded, operated, and so we're attacking ourselves and blaming them in order to have a pretext to go to war. 1962. This is why we've been covering this for so long. Capture assault teams approaching from the sea and vicinity of Guantanamo Bay. Capture militia groups which storm the base. Sabotage ships in harbor. Large fires. Napalathine. Sink ship near harbor entrance, conduct funerals for mock victims, maybe in lieu of 10. So they're even planning like fake funerals, and United States would respond by executing offensive operations. So this is all, why is this in the JFK files, you might ask? Because it's all connected, man. I'm going to go ahead and put this in the show notes for you guys. We're doing it live. If you like what we do and you're on Cash App, throw me some stuff over at cash.app/DarkDox. $5. We do this 4 nights a week. If each one of you gave me $5, I might make minimum wage one day. So buy me a chicken dinner. So back to the current archive. Jamming U.S. radio stations. Sabotage or terroristic bombings. So this is not Operation Northwoods. This is part of the JFK files that's going on right now. And it's years later. This is okay. There are standing operation... I'm just like very excited about this. I'm actually going to go back over here so you can read along with me. There we go. There are standing operation procedures to overcome interference and jamming methods employed against military communications. The summaries of actions set forth above are essentially defensive reactions to Cuban initiatives. There are, of course, existing and related military plans retaliatory in nature, which range up to and include a full-scale military invasion of Cuba. It was generally agreed on September 13th of 1963, meetings from committees that most likely actions of the Cuban government are those which would not provoke United States retaliation seriously and immediately endangering the Castro regime. It appears more likely that Castro might intensify his support of subversive forces in Latin. And then it cuts off. Okay. I assume they were going to say America, but that makes me wonder what else, what pages are we missing here? So already, because this is the beginning of, we're on page 5 of 18, and now it's a report concerning possible retaliatory actions by the Castro government. Still on topic, but that was an abrupt ending. So you always got to look at those kinds of things when you have these kinds of record releases. I've been doing this for 20 years, guys. The numbering of the subparagraphs below correspond to the numbering of those actions for which specified or related military contingency plans exist. A brief summary of the actions contemplated by those plans is also provided. Should be are also provided. That's okay. Actions against U.S. target in Cuba, harassment in Guantanamo, cutting off of water supply. A minimum of approximately 20-day supply of water is maintained in reserve storage at the naval base. Provision is made for the emergency resupply of water by tanker, which would require at maximum of 18 days and which would be implemented in order to Sinclant Foots. In order of, so that's some sort of acronym, I guess. Evacuation of non-essential personnel in 24 hours or less, if directed and consistent with national policy. Closing access to base by Cuban workers who commute. Staging demonstrations and riots at the gates. So this is more, more Operation Northwoods. Execution of measures appropriate to the degree, kind, and exact location of the disturbance, ranging from no action through such measures as the use of fire hoses and lacrymating agents may be ordered by the commander, U.S. Naval Base Guantanamo. Sniping at base sentries resulting in injury or death. Again, more false flags. More American lives, more Cuban lives lost based on lies and deceits. This is what American history really is. What's up, Popeye? The head of Joint Chiefs of Staff wanted to create a pretext to nuke Cuba. Correct. By the way, rabbithole.radio is down, and what's going on with that? Rabbithole.radio. I've been plugging it. And then I finally went to it to be like, oh, let's see what's going on. And it's not going anywhere. Rabbithole.radio. What's going on with that, Pipes? I made the website. It's a static HTML website. Happy to help, so let me know. I'm not sure if you're aware that it's down, but yeah. But yeah, definitely check out Popeye's Down the Rabbit Hole Radio podcast. I guess it's on Rumble. There is no site. There was a site. Talk to me after the show. DM me. Harassment of U.S. shipping using Yucatan Channel, Florida Straits, Windward Passage. The rules of engagement, which have been approved by the highest national authority, not JFK, and I think that's why it's in this file, because you guys killed them over this, I think. So I'm going to leave this tab. I'm going to check more into that later. We have a summary of Escalade audio operations against the New China News Agency in Havana in May of 1959. So this goes way back. Bring it back over here for you guys. Wow. Yep, good. Okay. In May of 1959, the New China News Agency, or NCNA, opened an office in Havana in the El Medico building, which is occupied partly by businesses concerns and partly used for residential apartments. Shortly thereafter, the Havana station obtained the concurrence of Ambassador Bozai and Miss Carolyn O. Stacy, an embassy employee. So yeah, this is kind of boring. Maybe something will come of this. This is 7 pages. So I mean, yeah, like this is what is called parsing through these documents, and I mean, it's a hunting expedition. It'll take 100 years, but you also have to keep in mind, is this a distraction from something else? They're dropping this huge steak on our lap for us to just chew on and chew on and chew on. And are we missing something else in doing this? So we have to kind of be reading this and like looking up at the same time. And that's not enjoyable for people with autism. We don't appreciate it. And then you have documents like this, which I love and hate. I love them because they look cool and super like, you know, I don't know, conspiracy, right? But it's distracting. And then what it actually says is this is from Yuri Ivanovich Nonsenko. Nonsenko was interviewed, that was April 2nd, 1964, by essays Donald E. Walter, those guys, and a number of cases which originated with sources were discussed with him for additional data, and photographs of Soviet nationals were displayed to him. Topics covered included the following: Krakow suspected for the above individual was discussed with source who was unable to furnish additional information or make any conclusion, although observed it was insignificant that Krakow is approximately the same. Boring. What? It's fluff, you know? And then it just lulls you into, okay, whatever, nothing important here, but it's like, you saw like on Operation Northwoods, I've been looking at that for years, and it's like, wait, where is that line? Because we used to print those out and give them to people like, look, false flag, U.S. government, declassified, here you go. We do false flag operations. It's not too crazy to think that 9/11 was an inside job. It's not too crazy to think that we attacked our own Pentagon or like any of these things, because we have a history of doing it, and it's declassified. It's not even like, oh yeah, there's a theory. It's not a conspiracy theory when it's a declassified federal document admitted by our government. Like, yeah, we did that. That's our document. Here it is on our websites. So it's not a conspiracy theory. They coined the term conspiracy theory because of these JFK files that we are finally getting. Are these even real? Are they AI? We don't even fucking know anymore, which is like really infuriating. We should have had these things 60 years ago. Blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I'm going to be going through this for a long time. You know, you got shit like this. It's like almost impossible to read, but that's okay. We will go through and see what we can find. But I'm glad I found at least that one that like it was very clearly connected to Operation Northwoods. So from WHITEHOUSE.GOV, National Poison Prevention Week 2025. Just so you know, among the most serious threats facing our nation is the rise of fentanyl. Don't do drugs, okay? National Agriculture Day is today. So, grow some shit, huh? How about that? Trump's tariffs are saving American steel industry. American steel industry will be reinvigorated by President Trump's tariffs on steel imports, writes Steel Manufacturers Association President Philip K. Beale in today Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, describing how President Trump's action to close loopholes and exemptions will strengthen the critical industry. So what is insubordination? Insubordination is the act of willfully ignoring, which is funny. I was going to call today's episode Ignore, but I was like, it doesn't have the punch. I'm and then give it up for Owen Schroyer at the War Room over at Band.video. He was like, this is gross insubordination. I'm like, that's the word. Ignoring, disobeying, or refusing to follow directions from an authority figure or group. It is a term more commonly used with the military, but one that is also applicable to the workplace, where it involves an employee refusing to follow directions from their manager, other superior, or from the organization as a whole. So this is what's happening on a mass scale across our entire nation. Insubordination, because these guys, they're working underneath the chief executive officer of the executive branch of the United States of America, the leader of the free world. We call these people. They're in charge of the military. And of course, there's checks and balances, but these are local judges. That this is completely out of their jurisdiction. Where, when Trump said they're stealing the election, they said that he didn't have standing. These judges don't have standing. Let's look up standing. Standing. Legal. Legal term standing refers to a party's capacity to bring a lawsuit requiring a demonstrated sufficient connection to and harm from the law or action being challenged to support their participation in the case. So they said that Donald Trump didn't have standing to bring a lawsuit about all of the, you had dead people voting, it goes on and on, watch 2000 Mules, you had voter suppression, you had fake ballots, it goes on and on and on. But yet they said he didn't have standing when literally he was the one being harmed by this fraud and abuse. And it continues. Here we are 8 years later. 8 years. Let that sink in. If you like what we do and you're on X, we are Sacred Owls Unites. And we do this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at youtube.com/Sacred Owls, rumble.com/DarkDox, bitshoot.com/DarkDox, facebook.com/Christian X Coffins, and we do have a Facebook group that I recovered. I'm going to see if I can change the art and stuff. I made this thing years ago. Does it even say how old it is? I don't know. I don't think so. And then they kicked me off of Facebook, and now I have a new Facebook account, and I joined the group that I started all those years ago, so it's full circle. Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing from some of those friends I've lost all those years ago. And if you're on Cash.app, /DarkDox. So, hook us up. And the first one that I saw post the link, it just barely beat Hashmere, was Gunther Eagleman, who was swatted. That's right. The swattings are continuing against conservative media commentators like myself. And just so you know, Elon, is it back? The DOGE.GOV, I should have scrolled down. It was blank for a second there, but seems like your plugin needed to refresh. And also, while we're at it, can you change, so it's x.com, that propagates, not twitter.com for the little embeds, especially on WordPress. All right, we got some people in the chat today. I like it. Let's keep it up. Let's share this, create a post, because we got a lot to cover, and I'm just getting started. But Doge.gov, there's no transparency. For the past 2 weeks, Social Security has begun a major cleanup of their records. Approximately 3.2 million number holders are listed age 120 and up, have been marked as deceased. More work still to be done. And here you can see, I'm going to go ahead and open it on X so I don't have to fudge with the, there we go, I like that. So, we have 120 to 129, living count 3,467,066. And then you have living count, what was this, 3 to 17 overall change, okay. Oh, those are the dates? I see. So they got rid of this many. But we have people that are 130 to 140, 140 to 150, 150 to 160. When was the last time you saw a 150-year-old person walking around? You haven't, is the answer to that. Mr. Moose denied lawful access to Kenneth Jackson, the acting USIP president, as approved by the USIP board. DC Police Department arrived on site and escorted Mr. Jackson into the building. The only unlawful individual was Mr. Goose. Mr. Moose? Mr. Goose? Mr. Moose. I don't know why. Who refused to comply. Even tried to fire the USIP private security team when said security team went to give access to Mr. Jackson. That reminds me of like the IT crowd. It's like, we need a security team that acts like a team or else they're all fired too. Removal of Mr. George E. Moose, president, and appointment of Kenneth Jackson as acting president. This is United States Institute of Peace. But no, there's no transparency, and they're just a bunch of criminals doing terrible things. Terminate for convenience, complete or partial. What do we got here? What am I looking at? What is this? Is this all from today? Okay, so this is from yesterday. So I'm trying to do just today's because there's just so much. But definitely check out DOGE.GOV. Last one, contract update. Today, agencies terminated 44 contracts with a ceiling value of $5.2 billion and savings of $640 million, including $465,000 for Department of Defense contract for non-personal services to serve as the Maxwell Air Force Base installation horticulturalist, landscape designer, and greenhouse plant nursery manager to improve and maintain beautification of the installations. $465,000. You know, this is actually my area of expertise. I actually went to Florida International University for landscape architecture and urban development. And that actually checks out. I mean, it depends on the size of the installation, but you'd be amazed how expensive landscaping can be. It's not landscaping, landscape architects and design, and then creating the construction documents, administration for permitting, and all of the details, and it goes on and on and on. Post-occupancy inspection. $2.85 million HHS contract for digital communications and social media support service. Why is our government spending money on social media support services? There's some kind of, it sounds like there's some paid American propaganda on social media is what it sounds like. But definitely check them out on X. Doge, get in here. See, these people are being insubordinate. Defiance of authority, refusal to obey orders. Meanwhile, you have terrorism afoot. This is DOGE.GOV. And on this website, which has a cursor that's a Molotov cocktail. If you don't know what that is, it's a bottle with you shove a little fabric in there, and you put some kind of alcohol or gasoline or anything flammable, really, and you have a nice little explosive that you can lob at people. And why are they using this as a pointer? And what are these T's and little doges? Well, before I get into that, let's see, what is DogeQuest? DogeQuest is the ultimate hub for enthusiasts of the Department of Government Efficiency. Our innovative platform allows users to explore an interactive map of Doge landmarks. But that's not all. We also cater to Tesla Motors owners, providing a comprehensive resource to locate nearby service centers, showrooms, and charging stations, all at their fingertips. Leveraging our cutting-edge artificial intelligence algorithm, DogeQuest goes a step further by connecting like-minded Tesla owners with one another, facilitating a vibrant community through shared contacts information. Join us as we revolutionize the way Doge fans and Tesla owners connect and explore. Is DogeQuest a protest platform? If you're on a hunt for a Tesla to unleash your artistic flair with a spray can, just step outside. No map needed. At DogeQuest, we believe in empowering creative expressions of protest that you can execute from the comfort of your own home. DogeQuest neither endorses nor condemns any actions. Before you embark on any adventure, we highly recommend checking the No Trace projects. Let's see what that is. I want my information removed. Absolutely. Just provide us with proof that you sold your Tesla. Email takedown at DOGE.q.st or DogeQuest. We only accept scanned documents in JPEG and PNG formats. Can I mirror this website? Of course, and they show you how. So, what this is, if you click on these little guys, these are Tesla superchargers. If you click on the Doges, you have Spirits of the Washash Distillery owned by Jenica Pounds, aka Data Republican. So as you can see, they're targeting individuals that are in support of Doge. I'm probably going to end up on this map. It would be a badge of honor, because come and fucking try anything. Bunch of fucking losers. I mean, they spend all this time to attack people for having Teslas, for Tesla charging. Like, these are coordinated attacks by governments. This is funded. These aren't just like dorks. But you know, you can see right here, they got phone numbers, they got email addresses, they have the addresses. Douglas J. Wonderly, the current home of Douglas Wonderly, who is Ryan Wonderly's father and cardiologist. So they have like people connected to people. Family residence of Chris Stanley, Kyle Schultz, known as Kyle Schultz, a former resident of Doge staffer. And then, of course, the T's are Tesla locations. And then, yeah, the cars are people that have Teslas. So you can go to their house. What do you guys think? Do you think that something like this should be allowed? Is this protected under the First Amendment? Let me know in the comments. I think it's disgusting, of course. And they think that they're cute. And I want to see what the president and Elon Musk think about it. Because this just broke today. The No Trace Project, No Trace, No Case, a collection of tools to help anarchists and other rebels understand the capabilities of their enemies, undermine surveillance efforts, and ultimately act without getting caught. They're getting caught all the time. You guys are terrible at this. So they got zines, text, and other media dealing with surveillance and operational security, threat library, knowledge base of repressive technique mitigations that we can take to counter them, and repressive operations. I know anarchists. I know commies. I know socialists. I know punk rockers and other people that this is targeting and appealing to. They don't talk like this. Knowledge base of repressive technique mitigations that we can take to counter them. And it's like, say that you're not like some kind of military intelligence, some kind of intelligence agency with your hat backwards. Hey, fellow anarchists, ears and eyes, cases of surveillance device hidden by authorities, microphone cameras, and other trackers. All right, well, I'm going to be looking into this now. Threat library, ears and eyes. No Trace projects. So as you can see, these are the tools of sedition. This is asinine threats are sedition bound report.
Coming to my work with some Donald Trump propaganda on. You're getting harassed. You are getting harassed. I don't make the rules. I just follow them. Harassed. Harassed.
Let's be very clear here. The Republican Party, the MAGA Republicans, are a domestic terrorist cell operating in America.
We are in the prime position to stabilize the country, become successful and wealthy again, and lift up the rest of the world. And Trump understands that, and that's the real economics. The globalists want a global new dark age. They want a collapsed global society. And we're so far along, it is hard to turn this around. And that's why the idiots on the left think they're on the winning team are such fools, when the globalists will absolutely destroy them as well when they've lived out their usefulness.
It's coming. We're all going to wake up one morning and roll over and grab our phones, and that line's going to be right there. It's going to happen. And I can't wait. It's going to be glorious.
I heard about the incident in front of the White House. Rest in peace, all the things. But this is the energy. Let's flood the system and see what happens.
Whoever steps up and deals with those two problems will be celebrated for the rest of time. There will be holidays forever celebrating you, whoever takes care of those problems.
I've been warning, if they start actually saying Trump supporters are about to activate terrorism, that means their operatives are getting ready to do some false flags.
Yeah, so we're going to see some of these things. And one of the other aspect of their coalition, right, the opposition, so Black Lives Matter, Antifa, elements of Hamas and Hezbollah are on the streets of America, large swaths of them. You have the cartels. MS-13 is probably the biggest one that was involved in really the drug smuggling and the human smuggling. You have Tom Homan is still going after this, Venezuelan cartel, Cartel del Sol, or elements of them. So you still have on the streets of America a lot of operatives that they can tap into, and they in fact do tap into them.
All I'm saying right now is that someone in the White House would better take their shot right now. And better not miss. My doors are open for you if you need a safe house.
Do it. You know you've been thinking about it. Why not do it? Why not do it? Do it. Do it!
Once the military takes out Trump, we must honor them. No veteran left behind. If you have friends and family in the military, we must plead with them to do what must be done. And we will build statues in their names. We will name our children after them, and we will help them like we've never helped veterans before. Who's with me?
If you didn't stand up against Donald Trump's pardon of 1,500 insurrectionists who have violated the Capitol like no other time in history, then you don't have the right to clutch your pearls and be all outraged over a member of Congress. It is very clear that Medicaid is on the table. It is very clear that Social Security is on the table. It is very clear that people will die. The baby boomers, the civil rights generation, they knew what they had to do. They were willing to fight and die for their rights. This generation of Congress, they are not meeting the moment.
The reason this is all happening is because they're losing. And that's why it's critical. Everybody understand. They bring down Social Security, crash it, they're the ones behind it. They take down Rumble, X today. Now they're announcing it's some leftist group taking credit for that. But you know, it's not some little group did it, it's major state organizers. Okay? So they're trying to crash the market right now. This is their big move. This is their big test. And then they'll just incrementally turn the heat up here. And we need Trump to address the nation and to call for peace and call these people out.
While other networks lie to you about what's happening now, Infowars tells you the truth about what's happening
next. I'm looking at the chat. Astrid, I would love to have you on. So, set it up with Tina, and maybe we can do tomorrow if you're free, or sometime this week I'm down. That'd be awesome. This is batshit crazy. Judge now demanding DOJ reveal classified information on deportation flights. In other words, he's arguing that the Trump administration should not have executed the president's lawful order because he was going to hold a hearing and maybe stop the government from deporting the immigrants under the Alien Enemies Act. Yeah, okay. Hearing now underway in Judge Boasberg courtroom on his nationwide temp restraining order related to the president's March 15 proclamation invoking the Alien Enemies Act. Boasberg acted within hours of a lawsuit filed by the ACLU on behalf of 5 suspected Venezuelan terrorists. Now, that's the American Civil Liberties Union, who is in the business of making sure that the interests of Americans' civil liberties are being upheld, whereas they are working on behalf of 5 suspected Venezuelan terrorists that are illegally in our country. Make that make sense. It's funny, I've been doing this for so long. Back in like 2007, when we were actually, Federal Jack was a student organization at Florida International University. We actually had ACLU lawyers come and like show videos and give out free stuff on like how to talk to law enforcement when you get pulled over and knowing your rights and all that stuff. A lot has changed since 2008, I'll tell you. President Trump operating at apex of his authority when removing terrorist illegal aliens from the U.S. Stephen Miller. It's from Border Hawk. I need an eagle or a hawk.
Well,
Eagle
they
hawk.
are actually foreign terrorists and alien enemies of the United States. And everything that we do is for operational security reasons. We're dealing with one of the most dangerous terrorist organizations on planet Earth. A few points on this. One is that the president reserves the right to exercise all necessary authorities to secure the homeland and to repel any invasion or incursion. The judge, which is truly beyond comprehension and belief, issued his unlawful order without even receiving any information on this terrorist organization, on the diplomacy that had been conducted internationally by the Secretary of State, any briefing from the intelligence community, any information at all, let alone the fact that he's trying to issue the movement of aircraft that are operating outside the United States, the legal equivalent of directing troop movements overseas or moving around an aircraft carrier on matters of essential national security. It is certainly, I would think without question, the most unlawful order that any district court judge has issued in our lifetimes without even a close second. And it put the lives in danger of the Homeland Security personnel on those aircraft, and it jeopardized enormous, massive diplomatic and security issues across the entirety of the Western Hemisphere. At a fundamental level, a district court judge has no authority to direct the national security operations of the executive branch. The president is operating at the apex of his authority when you are dealing with questions of invasion and questions of alien enemy infiltration, as well as the expulsion of terrorist illegal aliens from the country. That's the president operating at the absolute apex of his constitutional authority. And the founding generation that wrote this law very clearly, these are the same people who wrote the Constitution, very clearly wanted to ensure the president had the broadest range of authority to remove from the nation non-citizens who are part of an alien enemy force. And that's the authority the president has. And in the coming days, you will see the full suite of presidential authorities used to extirpate this gang, this terrorist organization from our soil.
I mean, who is arguing with this? Unless you hate this country, unless you want more rapes and murders. Like what? We're getting pretty impatient. Laura Loomer uncovers an enormous taxpayer-funded conflict of interest involving Obama judge who ordered Trump admin to stop deporting criminal aliens mid-flight and his own daughter. Radical judge trying to stop President Trump from deporting dangerous illegal aliens has been loomered. Don't make that a thing. Don't do it. As the Gateway Pundit reported, a federal judge appointed by Barack Obama issued an emergency injunction Saturday night ordering planes already in the air to turn back mid-flight to prevent the deportation of Tren de Agua members to El Salvador. The case was brought by a Marxist, America-hating ACLU and Democracy Forward. But the order came too late. 2 flights from U.S. carrying nearly 300 Venezuelan and other we have millions. We have tens of millions that we need to deport. And they're like freaking out over a couple hundred leaving the country. Like, calm down. You can go down to El Salvador to blow them. Jeesh. You can use some of that USAID money for some flights, you know? The case was brought, the order came too late. 2 flights, nearly 300, and other gang members landed in El Salvador despite Judge James Boasberg's emergency order. This prompted a mocking reply from the country's president. Got a little video here.
It's your weekly video, and today I'm going to tell you about a legal loophole that lets prosecutors use different rules of evidence in court when they are prosecuting specific, usually black or brown people. Here's what I mean. Most places around the country have some kind of gang law at this point. And a lot of these gang laws are really loosey-goosey. They basically define a gang as like any 2 or more or 3 or more people who have any kind of unifying symbol who commit a kind of crime together. Now, when you think of how teenagers are and how often kids have unified, how often did we all draw that weird S in our notebooks? And I don't know, like shoplift candy, whatever. And the point is, these laws can be very broadly applied because they are very, very vague. Who are they applied to? When we look at databases, for example, New York's gang database, it becomes apparent that these laws are almost exclusively applied to people of color. So for example, in New York, 99% of people in the gang database are not white. This is really significant because what gang law is really intended to do is prosecute groups of people for doing crimes together, right? We actually already have laws for that. The law of conspiracy, for example, is intended to prosecute groups of people who do a crime together. But conspiracy actually requires prosecutors to do the work of proving that the people have.
That's an interesting example because have you noticed in the news, I've been catching it a lot lately because words really like trigger me when they're not used properly. And please correct me in the chat if I ever say anything wrong. Like, you know, I'm not perfect. I do my best to be, but no one is, you know. But you'll hear people in the news saying like, oh, that's just a conspiracy. That's Orwellian doublespeak because yes, it is a conspiracy, which is a crime, meaning several people getting together and working towards a common goal that is illegal. It's a conspiracy. Yet people are like, oh, that's just a conspiracy, but like they mean a conspiracy theory, which is a term coined by the CIA during the JFK assassination Warren Commission. People didn't believe it, and they're like, oh, don't be a conspiracy theorist. And that's also where tinfoil hat came from. These are all psychological operations in order to manipulate. I digress. Let's see what this idiot has to continue saying.
Groups of people who do a crime together. But conspiracy actually requires prosecutors to do the work of proving that the people had a common scheme and that they actually took material steps towards completion of their scheme.
Unless you went to January 6th or you're a Proud Boy and you didn't even go to January 6th, there was an unspoken conspiracy between those men, and it was just widely accepted by Democrats in the jury in D.C., who all got pardons from Joe Biden, or his auto pen, I mean.
Gang law? They can just claim that people are all in the same gang, and so whatever crime one of them does, the other ones must have wanted to do too, and therefore be culpable for. This opens the door to prosecutors using evidence in court that they would never be allowed to use in any other context. So for example, if I'm accused of a crime, and I am saying, hey, I'm completely innocent of this crime, I did not do this. Most of the time, prosecutors are not allowed to introduce evidence that my friend committed a whole bunch of crimes and kind of imply to the jury that if my friend did a whole bunch of crimes, I must be a crappy person who does crimes too. But in gang cases, that's exactly what they're allowed to do, which is essentially a totally huge departure from the normal rules of evidence being applied only to black and brown people which makes them more
Whoa, at what point was this only applied to black and brown people? You see what they just like skip over the part that
likely to be convicted because it's much easier to bias juries when you can say, hey, this person's friends are crappy. And then they are subjected to harsher penalties because gang crimes also confirm more time in prison.
Yeah, they do the same thing to white supremacists. They do the same thing to biker gangs. They do, and they come in all different colors, lady. So, but no, it's racist. So let's see. Why did Laura Loomer post this particularly? In the video below, Emily Gavin Almanza, the founder of Partners for Justice at PFJ_USA, talks about how the creation of gang laws lets prosecutors subject black and brown people to a completely different set of rules in court. In the video, she provides a defense of gang members and minimizes shoplifting as a crime. Yeah, she does. Man, there's just so much going on. Doge, get back to work. In that video clip, that that one just was like the least of my concerns. She says it's racist to have laws that crack down on gangs like Tren de Agua because 99% of people in jail for gang activities are black or Hispanic. Don't join. If you're black or Hispanic, don't join a gang. Don't do it. If you're white, don't join a gang. If you're Chinese, don't join a gang. Or occults. Don't join those either. Those aren't good. I feel like I shouldn't have to say this. The woman in the video below is the same woman who employs the judge. It's the judge's daughter. Who employs the judge's daughter. Notice the video was published on the official page for Partners for Justice, the organization that Judge Boasberg, daughter Catherine Boasberg, works for as a capacity building associate. What? Okay. I know that this is stupid, but what the hell is a capacity building associate? A capacity building associate typically supports the implementation and coordination of programs aimed at strengthening the skills, resources, and abilities of an individual, organization, or communities to achieve sustainable development goals. Yeah, so you don't do anything, do you? Like that. What do you do in a day's work at that job is what I would like to know. And how much do you get paid for such a thing? Also curious. Check out her use of the hashtags, #gang, defense attorney, criminal justice reform, public defender. Of course, Judge Boasberg wants to oppose President Trump's deportation of criminal illegal aliens and terrorist gangbangers from Venezuela. This is a conflict of interest. That's right. His daughter's own employment depends on there being a constant flow of criminals, illegal aliens, gangbangers in our country. Judge Boasberger must recuse himself. Absolutely. Wow. Good job, Loomer. I guess I'm not going to call things get loomered though. That's no. U.S. delivers plane load of foreign gangbangers to Supermax prison in El Salvador. Let's watch this very gratifying 3-minute video together. A lot of these people are child sex traffickers, human traffickers, drug traffickers, murderers, rapists, all other sorts of criminals. Me personally, I think that this is worse than the death penalty. I think the death penalty would be a kindness compared to this kind of treatment. What they deserve more. I don't support torture. I I support the death penalty. It'd be a lot cheaper than flying them over there. And look at all these agents. You got to deal with all this. And look at this. I mean, you got helicopters in the air. And this production that you see here costs hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. Just kill them one by one. That would send a strong message that don't even try it. I want to know how long all of these people are going to stay in this facility. Because if they let them go in a year or two, this is all for nothing. They can just re-enter. They'll have a lot harder time unless something happens to Trump. And I think that's why it was really important for him when he came to use himself. I think that's why it's really important that he... Yeah, you see, part of the dehumanization is you can't have hair. Everyone has to look the same. It's kind of like in the military. But I think it's interesting because they've already tried to kill President Trump several times. And I think now we're seeing how similar his situation actually is to JFK. And how impactful it is for him to have RFK as Secretary of Health and Human Services. But this should have happened 4 years ago. It really should have happened 8 years ago. It should have happened, well, it was happening a little bit under the Obama administration, believe it or not. But not enough. We still have millions of these criminals in our country walking the streets right now. It should have never happened. And your tax dollars have to pay for this. Also, should have never happened. It's not right. A lot of things to click when I do that. Big development is Letitia James guilty of mortgage fraud. Guest post by Jill Gilbert with a minor editorial adjustment for clarity and formatting. For over 2 decades, Letitia James repeatedly claimed her Brooklyn apartment building was a 4-unit property. They're going after her for like the same thing that, it's probably worse than what Trump did. Let's see. 4-unit property or on mortgage applications, despite official records proving it had 5. This is so petty. Liberals attacking Trump's transgender prison policies ignore the suffering of women. Left-wing judge activists and media outlets are condemning Trump's ban on transgender men in women's prisons. Transgender men in women's... Wouldn't it be transgender? I can't even keep up anymore. Do they have a dick or not? But they utterly disregard the perspective of female inmates, including those abused by gender-confused prisoners. It's a fucking clown show. These are the perpetrators of civil war. John Bound report.
Are you really alive if you aren't part of a plan? Part of your own destiny? Because the globalists have decided your destiny. What is it about Infowars? What is it we're saying that has them so upset? And I'd already heard this before from people at the Pentagon, the CIA, academics, people I'd talked to. Louis Farrakhan, sitting there having dinner with him at his house. And like a code word 2 years ago, he goes, Kanye, he's come and visited us, and Kim Kardashian, and, they want to do something bigger. They want to change things. They would like a bigger plan. And Farrakhan's looking at me, and I'm sitting there, after I've eaten 3 servings of food, tired, and I'm on, the reality TV people, I'm not really into them. And then I saw Kanye get up there and say, it's a bigger plan. And that's what it's called at the highest levels of the breakaway intelligentsia in Hollywood, in banking, in culture that are liberals, they're conservatives, they're straight, they're gay, they're old, they're young, they're black, they're white, they're Asian, they're Hispanic, they're Arab, they're whatever. But they don't like the big mega bank, big mega corporation, Alphabet. That's the big parent company of Google, YouTube, Tim Cook, Apple, the communist Chinese selling political dissidents organs. They don't like this really anti-human, post-human plan. And so they call it the bigger plan. I already knew all this. I already knew Trump was resisting. I already knew there were groups that wanted a pro-human future. To a point that I could predict what would be in his State of the Union. I could predict what his speeches would be, all of it, because he's not getting his information from me. He's getting it from the deep study and the analysis and the pro-human patriots in the government, that when we got down to the final line of handing America over to the Chinese communists, letting them run all the major corporations, Hollywood, giving them all the code keys to Alexa, Siri, that they said, man, this is really real. Then there was a decompartmentalization. I was able to get a big enough medium to break through. And then they thought, oh, this crazy sounding Texan and, you know, the stuff he does, we can twist this and discredit this whole movement. So the government and the corrupt elements amplified me the last few years, thinking that that would discredit the pro-human big plan movement, and instead it supercharged it. It's that crazy. The organized crime nature of thousands of establishment publications and so-called news organizations perpetuating violence against Trump supporters, perpetuating civil war.
Trump supporters leaving the San Jose Convention Center were surrounded, taunted, and attacked by anti-Trump protesters, many carrying Mexican flags.
This is back in 2018.
Donald Trump talks like a racist, thinks like a racist, makes statements like a racist, conjures emotions that give succor and support to white supremacists and white nationalists. Yeah, he's a racist because racism is as racism does.
Do you think Donald Trump is racist?
Okay, Forrest.
I do.
Oh, this race thing is taking over, you know, and because I believe our president is kind of trying to divide us.
They shadow banned us so bad until Congress got involved, and now we're still 90%, that you'd get one retweet. No one could see it. And then they'd go, oh no, we only moderate tweets that are dangerous or hateful.
Separating families, his
Sound
Muslim
familiar?
travel ban, building the stupid border
They
wall.
did it to all of us.
Donald Trump is a racist. There.
But
I said it.
I tried to
stop
send
you
a
from
clip
saying that.
out of President Trump talking about unity and bringing America together and fighting racism, and that's the type of thing that would get no retweets because they don't want unity.
While other networks like...
It's true. So if you like what we do, go to thealexjonesstore.com/darkdox, and with that, when you put that in, I actually get 10% of anything that you purchase over there. So it would greatly help out DarkDox Digest. Me compressing 10 hours. I watch Band.video, The American Journal, The Alex Jones Show for 4 hours, and then The War Room with Owen Schroyer. It's 10 hours from 9 a.m. till 7 p.m. And then I come on, I gather everything, I tab everything out that I've been collecting throughout my day at work, and then, get rid of all the ads for you and stuff, just so we can compress it down to about an hour. It's 9:08, so I usually go a little bit over an hour. Sometimes it's a little under. But, yeah, so if you value this, that you can just watch one video live and jump in the chat and stuff, and you like what I'm doing, you want me to keep doing it, definitely consider supporting our sponsor, thealexjonesstore.com/darkdox. And right now, they're giving away a Raptor 4x4, I believe. Let's look at what the current giveaway is. Yep. It's the Jeep Rubicon. The Raptor has already had a winner. So they're going to be announcing the winner in about a week or so. But right now they have a 2024 Jeep Rubicon 392 4x4 plus $10,000 cash. Every dollar you spend is 10 times entry. So 10 entries, anything you buy. Right now they got the MK Ultra, magnesium and vitamin K. I got the Shilajit complex and I like it a lot. Here's the proof. Also Atomic Defense, Brain Force, and the X2 iodine you can actually get at the InfoWarsStore.com. I'm not even an affiliate, but I like those products and I highly suggest them. But definitely from here, check out the CMOS, the Ultimate Gut Cleanse, and the probiotic. The Sambuscas or elderberry gummies are delicious. I love them. It's a nice treat. Usually after breakfast, I go ahead and take one of all of those. And yeah, feel damn good after I do it, I'll tell you that. But they got all kinds of great stuff. We got t-shirts, we got coins, we got all kinds of cool stuff at thealexjonesstore.com/DarkDox. Also, darkdox.me/shop is where you can get everything DarkDox. We got t-shirts, we got projectors and MP4 players, as well as thumb drives, fully loaded with our archives that have all of the PDFs of declassified federal documents and the WikiLeaks archive and over 100 documentaries and podcasts, audiobooks, and much more on those devices. That's why there's a little bit of an upcharge on them, because it's over a terabyte micro SD card or thumb drive on those things. We got buttons, we got vinyl, we got all of the Sacred Owls merchandise, t-shirts, our film, Sacred Owls, They Are Here to Save the World, where we went to the Bohemian Grove, the Georgia Guidestones before it got demolished, Boys Town, Nebraska, the Denver Airport, and more. We have 2 comic book albums out. Definitely check out Tales of Terror 1 and 2. 3 is coming out on Halloween. We got shop rags and posters and much more at darkdox.me/shop. Chief Justice Roberts defends rogue judiciary, slams Trump call for impeaching judges in rare rebuke. Yeah, so there's going to be a lot of back and forth on this BS. Radical left lunatic of a judge and troublemaker and agitator who was sadly appointed by Barack Hussein Obama was not elected president. He didn't win the popular vote by a lot. He didn't win all 7 swing states. He's right. 4 Africans arrested for smuggling baby girl and shopping bag to sell in Italy. 4 Moroccan nationals have been arrested in Turlin on suspicion of smuggling a 2-month-old baby girl into Italy inside of a shopping bag to sell her to a new family. God, this is disgusting. Notice it's always these migrants, though. They're not all bad, but maybe they could just stay in their own country and make their own country better or worse. I don't know. I would never go to another country and do these things, is my point. Juanita Broderick is the latest victim of a politically motivated swatting. Oh, another swatting. We get the SWAT treatment. Let's watch her story on X. And this is her X account. Alright, it's just a 5-second video. I thought it'd be longer. But yep, so the swatting continues. It's attempted murder every time, and that's how it should be framed, because that's what it is. Courtney Love becoming UK citizen because of Donald Trump is back in the White House. Someone actually left. Look at that. Good. Bye. You killed Kurt. Natalie Winters brings the receipts. Soros-funded group Indivisible is paying far-left activists to protest at Tesla dealerships. This is a conspiracy. This is a criminal conspiracy. It's racketeering, and they need to be held accountable. For weeks now, Democratic Party proxy groups have been violently protesting. It's not violently protesting. They have been engaged in domestic terrorism at Tesla dealerships around the country. Democrats are outraged that President Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and his Doge team have found over $100 billion in waste and fraud in the U.S. government and are shutting down the Democratic Party's money machine at USAID. Indivisible's Musk or Us Actions Reimbursement Program. The Trump-Musk coup is underway and we are all paying the price. Isn't that ironic? Like, no, they're saving you money. They've been stealing from you. Or maybe you're paying the price because they're stealing your money that you've been stealing from U.S. taxpayers through his farce agency, Doge. Get in here, Doge. Yeah. He's busy. Elon Musk and Trump are dismantling democracy in real time. We're not a democracy. This is a republic. And ripping apart the services millions rely on. No. Yeah, millions of you guys stealing U.S. taxpayer dollars. Every Republican must feel the heat for their complicity in the Trump-Musk coup. Every Democrat must know that we've got their backs when they fight back. Reimbursement programs. This form is for requesting reimbursements for standards, event hosting costs such as venue fees, AV equipment, food and non-alcoholic drinks, promotional invite materials, travel costs, gas mileage, printing costs, message to lobby your federal level representatives. You see, wouldn't it be amazing if Sacred Owls got $200 in order to, print flyers and things like that to expose corruption and child sex trafficking and all these things that have been going on to maybe raise awareness and save lives? But no, instead we get shadow banned and they give money to transgender surgeries for chihuahuas in Thailand. It's disgusting. The Forest Back Group, Invisible, is reimbursing left-wing protesters. Yeah, Natalie Winters following. Good. Meet couple running Indivisible's anti-Doge agitation op, trading GOP town halls and flooding Hill phone lines. Leah Greensburg, Israel Levin, who have $11.7 million worships THX to to 7.26 million from George Soros. Greenberg's parents worked for Obama. 501c4 Indivisible pays a DEI director $155,163. These are the people. It's the money. And it's Soros again. That's right, Elon Musk. Soros-funded groups are reimbursing activists thousands of dollars in exchange for protesting Trump and Musk.
That is the fact. And Indivisible, which has really been the backbone and spearheading so much of these protests and demonstrations, well, they're actually paying not just these protesters to participate in these town halls, to go after their members of Congress. They specifically have a, quote, Musk or Us program where they're paying protesters up to $200 to participate in events like these. But I have new reporting coming out today highlighting how they are now subsidizing up to $1,500 per Indivisible group to host events that they describe as, quote, appreciation celebrations for members, quote, advocacy, recruitment, and get out the vote work. They also are subsidizing group retreats, whether that's for things like cookouts and barbecues and pizza parties, or what they call solidarity building events like DEI training. You can even see the picture you have up on screen. People can choose if they want to be reimbursed via check, direct deposit, or their distributed fundraising account, right? And I just think that stories like these, it's really important to drill down, because if you look at it broadly, right, how the left-wing media presents it, they never drill down on how these protesters, these individuals, are being funded by Soros-funded entities, by these left-wing dark money networks. The people that you're seeing, it's not like they are organically or altruistically deciding to protest something. They are being paid to do so. And in the same vein, right now, AOC and
So there you have it. I mean, how much more evidence do you need? And there's the evidence. So these protests where they are, again, don't call them protests. It's the same doublespeak like the Black Lives Matter situation. Like, these are not mostly peaceful or fiery protests. This is domestic terrorism, and they're going in and they are burning property that is very expensive and very dangerous. And these are the same kind of, these are climate protesters, whatever the, the outrage of the day is, it's the same people. And it goes to show how disingenuous they are. People like Don Lemon, I don't think that you can be black and be a rational MAGA person. Let's see about that.
It's the same thing that when I see, not all black Republicans, but when I see a black MAGA person who is carrying Donald Trump's water and they know that he's lying, it is the shortest line to the front.
So carrying water, like that instantly triggers carrying water for Putin. This is something that leftists say a lot, carrying water for somebody. I want to see what happens. Carrying water. I know what it means, but let's see. Carrying someone's water, Wiktionary.
Carry someone's water.
Okay, it's just like literal. Whatever. To perform menial task for, to serve, to assist, to be forced by politics or pragmatism to endorse or promote a belief, individual, organization in the reality that one does not fully support. So you see right there, he's like saying that these people are disingenuous.
If you're black and you're whatever, you're just in line with a bunch of other Democrats that are doing the same thing that you're doing. But if you become a black MAGA person, it's like, whoa, let's book this person, let's put him on television.
So you don't think you can be a sincere black MAGA person?
I just said, I don't think that, I just said, I think there can be sincere Republicans.
But you can't be a sincere black Republican?
I don't think that you can be a rational MAGA, be black and be a rational MAGA person. I think you can be black and be a Republican.
I think they would find that very insulting.
Well, I mean, the truth is often insulting.
Lefty actor Michael Rappaport slams Democrats for supporting Mahmoud Kali and Luigi Mangione. This is why they're in the dump. This guy finally pulled his head out of his ass. He's going to be MAGA in a
This is
week.
the kind of people that the Democrats... This is why the Democrats... Let me tell you something. You guys know I voted for Cadaver Joe Biden, Smoking Joe Biden. Okay? Voted for Hillary Clinton. Okay? This is why the Democrats are in the dump. Because you celebrate people like Khalil, Muhammad Khalil. You celebrate people like Luigi Mangione. You go out on the streets, you go crazy for the wrong people. These outlier freaks. You go nuts for the wrong people. I don't know if it's because you feel so bad about yourself, you have no self-worth, you have no knowledge of self.
This is the guy like that was calling Trump a Nazi and all this like for the past 8 years and just freaking out video after video. And it's like, hey, demons, why are you guys all acting like demons? Huh? Hey, why are you supporting a killer? Why do you guys fetishize all of these demonic people that are doing horrible things? Like, is he really that tone deaf? I hope he's coming around, but like, what the hell? We got a new Greg Reese report, not on Band.video.
Corrado Malanga from the University of Pisa and Filippo Biondi, involved in radar and remote sensing research with the University of Strathclyde, published peer-reviewed research in 2022 via MDPI entitled Synthetic Aperture Radar Doppler Tomography Reveals Details of Undiscovered High-Resolution Internal Structure of the Great Pyramid of Giza. Their research was conducted using SAR data, synthetic aperture radar, along with proprietary software developed by Filippo Biondi that transforms the radar signals into phononic information, which allows for the detection of millimetric vibrations. This cutting-edge technology is capable of revealing underground structures invisible to traditional methods and revealed internal structures never seen before. Having established their expertise in using SAR to to explore pyramid structures non-invasively, a recent press release on their current project was released last Saturday. This March 15th press release summarized the key findings in the team's research of the second largest pyramid of the Giza Plateau, known as the Khafre Pyramid, and what they found was astonishing. The analysis of dozens of tomographic SAR images obtained from different angles enabled the 3D reconstruction of inside the pyramid of Khafre and deep beneath the surface of the plateau. Near the base of the pyramid, 5 identical structures are seen, connected by geometric pathways. Inside each of these are 5 horizontal levels and a sloping roof. Below these 5 structures are 8 cylindrical structures, which appear to be vertical wells, hollow inside, and surrounded by descending spiral pathways. These 8 vertically aligned cylindrical structures, arranged in 2 parallel rows from north to south, descend to a depth of 648 meters, where they all merge into 2 large cubic structures, measuring approximately 80 meters per side. The entire structure extends approximately 2 kilometers beneath the surface and extends beneath all 3 pyramids of the Giza Plateau complex. Mainstream Egyptology tells us that the Giza pyramids were tombs for pharaohs Khufu, Khafre, and Menkaure, and that they were built around 2500 BC using ramps, sledges, and levers. But the redundant mathematics in their construction, which include pi, the golden ratio, and the speed of light, along with the testimony of today's expert architects, suggests that the official story does not hold up. The massive underground structure revealed by the recent SAR data shows what appears to be a mechanical or functional system, and this has been hypothesized in the past. Nikola Tesla believed that the pyramids could harness Earth's natural frequencies. This arguably inspired his experiments in wireless energy transmission and scalar waves. In the Giza power plant, Christopher Dunn argued that the Great Pyramid was a power-generating machine using resonant and acoustic forces to convert mechanical stress into electricity. In the Giza Death Star, Joseph Farrell proposed that the Great Pyramid of Giza was a weapon of mass destruction using a type of physics that he calls paleophysics to focus energy as a scalar weapon. The cylindrical wells could be conduits for energy or sound waves, and the cubic structures might serve as energy storage or stabilization units, akin to components in a large-scale weapon or generator. And the detection of vibrations in the pyramid's internal structures reflects all of these ideas. The Khafre project hopes to plan an excavation in order to discover more about this underground structure, but history shows that this will be very difficult to get approval for. Greg Reese reporting.
Wow. It's pretty amazing. I would love to go down there and see that. I'd love to go to Egypt in general. Alright. Watch that later.
Watch how coconut oil...
Sorry.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
Spring break gone wild. Bikini-clad spring breakers participate in a legal boxing match with crypto bets. Really? I'm surprised it's cold. It's a very cold spring break. Anyway, whatever. How did that get in there? Yeah, any shorts? I think we got a couple shorts. Funny, Daily Mail used this sound. If you are from TikTok, you know this sound. Daily Mail actually used it. Is this supposed to elicit some kind of like sympathy for the devil? I think not.
So President Trump issued a proclamation on Saturday invoking the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 against Trendar.
I complain a whole lot about how Democrats are a bunch of weirdos, right? But don't think that I don't notice the Republicans doing weirdo stuff too. What is this, and why are we allowing them to do that? GOP lawmakers pass a bill allowing child genital exams without parental consent in the...
All right, cool. Yeah, that was it. We're caught up. So that concludes today's episode. Let me get out of the Black House and go ahead and bring down the display capture and come back down to SeaWorld one more time. I'm too small. I'm just too... You're too small. You're just too small. I miss the IT crowd. The UK version. This is Christian Coffins once more saying beware, take care, and call your mom. Have a good night.
Leading a frontal assault on the lies of the New World Order. It's Christian Coffins.
DarkDox Digest. DarkDox Digest. DarkDox Digest. DarkDox Digest. If you value this program, donate what you can at cash.app/DarkDox. DarkDox Digest. DarkDox Digest.